2,500 years ago, ancient Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu said something so profound it is now describing the current situation between the United States and China. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. 2 weeks ago, China shocked the world when it announced sweeping new export controls for rare earth minerals. From now on, any product containing even 0.1% of Chinese rare earths must get Beijing's approval before being exported. This announcement absolutely shocked the US government because while Donald Trump has been loudly threatening tariffs and trade wars, China quietly struck at America's weakest point, its total dependence on Chinese rare earths. The US government quickly shifted to panic mode, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent publicly insulting Chinese government officials, lobbying for emergency powers from the White House, and announcing to everyone this is China versus the world. But Beijing's response was calm and calculated, with a senior government official stating, "China's stance is consistent. We do not want a tariff war, but we are not afraid of one." This single line says everything, because while Trump tweets threats, China is playing Sun Tzu's The Art of the War, and even Donald Trump himself admitted that while he can threaten China with additional 100% tariffs, this will never be sustainable for the U.S. economy.
If you put that 100% tariff on top of what's in place already, you're talking about 157% tariff on China. Can that stand?
No.
What is that going to do to the economy?
It's not sustainable, but that's what the number is. I think we're going to do fine with China. I get along great with him. He's a very strong leader, a very amazing man. And you look at what he's done and what he's, where his life is an amazing story. It's a story for a great movie.
This interview was a breakthrough moment in the US-China trade war, because how can Trump ever gain leverage against China when he personally admitted his policies are unsustainable in the long term? Deep down, Trump knows that China has the upper hand, and it's probably why he immediately shifted to complimenting China's president. Trump and Xi will meet at the end of this month in South Korea, as both leaders are scheduled to attend the 2025 APEC summit. But as this trade war shifts to a new phase, one thing is becoming incredibly clear, and this Bloomberg article says the quiet part out loud. The US has no China policy, no strategy, and no clue. The heart of the issue is the US government failing to recognize China's rare earth export bans are a mirror image of Washington's own sanctions. Only this time, it's the US that's being cut off. Rare earth minerals are the foundation of modern technology. The magnets inside EV motors, the guidance systems of fighter jets, the chips inside smartphones, the sensors in missiles. And China controls 70% of global mining, 90% of processing, and 93% of magnet manufacturing. But here is where things get interesting, because China has prepared for this trade war much more diligently than the US. Just listen to insider Sean Ryan, who has written 4 best-selling books on China, break down the truth.
The Chinese, instead of buying semiconductors from the United States, from Nvidia and Intel, they've spent hundreds of billions of dollars of building up their own homegrown indigenous innovation semiconductors. Instead of buying American beef, they're now buying beef from our allies in Australia. Instead of buying soybeans from America, they're now buying soybeans from our allies in Argentina and in Brazil. Instead of buying oil from America, they're now buying from our allies Canada. Anything that America can produce, except for ethane, China can produce or buy elsewhere.
Despite the US government preaching to the world it holds all the cards in its high-stakes poker game with Beijing, researchers across the United States are sounding the alarm bells. Just look at this graph from Harvard University, which shows the complexity of exports from the US and China. China exports lots of advanced tech to the US that would be hard to source anywhere else. We actually witnessed this firsthand back in May, when China first halted rare earth mineral exports to the US. Within a week, US factories producing everything from F-35 stealth fighters and Patriot missiles to Ford's F-150 pickup trucks were grinded to a halt. That single week was a wake-up call inside Washington. For the first time, Trump's team realized China wasn't just reacting, it was dictating the pace of this trade war. Inside the White House, frantic calls came from defense contractors, automakers, and even the Pentagon. Without Chinese magnets, the US couldn't build its jets, its EVs, or many of its missiles. Ford CEO Jim Farley admitted, "We shut down plants for 3 weeks because we cannot get high-powered magnets." That's when Trump finally showed Xi Jinping, not to threaten him, but to negotiate. But if you really want to see where this trade war is going and how dangerous this could get for the United States, just listen to Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang reveal the truth about how the U.S. government is quickly eroding the potential of America's most important company.
We went from 95% market share to 0%. I can't imagine any policymaker thinking that that's a good idea. That whatever policy we implemented caused America to lose one of the largest markets in the world to 0%. China is the second largest computer market in the world. It is a vibrant ecosystem. I think it's a mistake for the United States to not participate.
This is an incredible insight, as Nvidia, the world's largest and most valuable company with a $4 trillion market cap, is now 100% out of China for 2025 and expecting zero sales. You see, this is where things get very difficult for the US, because one of the biggest questions we often ask for the future of our world is which country is going to win the AI race? Will it be the United States or will it be China? Once again, Jensen Huang shares an incredible insight as he basically concludes the United States government is effectively giving China the golden opportunity to win this race in the long term. 50 the most important interview for US policymakers to understand. If American companies like Nvidia are banned from exporting to China, then the Chinese will just build their own systems. Instead of slowing Beijing down, the export bans are actually accelerating China's self-reliance and giving it a long-term edge in artificial intelligence. As Huang puts it, if America truly wants to win the AI race, it needs its chips, GPUs, and software powering the entire world, including China. Otherwise, Washington isn't containing China, it's surrendering the AI future to it. For over a decade, Xi Jinping has been executing a plan to make China indispensable to global supply chains. Back in 2015, he launched Made in China 2025 to dominate frontier industries, robotics, batteries, rare earths, and AI. 5 years later, he told senior party officials that tightening the world's dependence on China would create a powerful countermeasure against foreign pressure. And that's exactly what we're witnessing today. By eliminating its reliance on others and deepening theirs on China, Beijing built an economic deterrent as effective as any military weapon. Trump may talk tough, but he's playing a game that China designed over a decade ago. But now that leads us to arguably the most important geopolitical question in the world right now. How long can China play the rare earths card? French geopolitical analyst Arnaud Bertrand argues that this advantage isn't going away anytime soon. In fact, it may be permanent. Many Western policymakers believe that the rare earth stranglehold could be broken with a few regulatory changes or new subsidies, but that's wishful thinking. The truth is, China's dominance runs far deeper. This isn't about a single factory or a few new mines. It's about the entire industrial ecosystem China has built over 4 decades, from education and workforce training to power infrastructure to complete vertical integration across every stage of production. Take, for example, gallium, a soft metal vital for modern semiconductors and military radar systems. China controls 98% of global gallium production, and reproducing even a fraction of that outside China will require over $140 billion in investments, 6 new nuclear reactors, tens of thousands of skilled workers, and decades of planning. And that's just for one of the 21 elements under China's export controls. Multiply that scale across the entire supply chain, and you begin to understand the sheer size of China's lead. This is why Arnaud concludes that China's advantage isn't just technological, it's systematic. Breaking that grip would require nothing less than a new industrial revolution in the West, rebuilding education, manufacturing, and capital systems from the ground up. So when Treasury Secretary Bessent panics about China weaponizing rare earths, he's right to be worried, because for the foreseeable future, this isn't a temporary tactic. It's a permanent advantage for China. But now I want to switch to the investing portion of today's video and show you how geopolitics influence markets, because one thing that continues to scare me is the rising national debt in the US, which just crossed $37 trillion. That's more than $110,000 for every citizen. And for the first time ever, the US government is spending more on interest payments than on defense. That's not just a financial problem, that's a national security threat. Because when a country drowns in debt, it becomes more vulnerable, economically and strategically. And as Washington looks for ways to cut costs, there's one area where spending keeps rising: security and defense technology. From the Department of Homeland Security to the TSA, billions are being poured into tools that can keep America safe and efficient without breaking the budget. And at the center of this push is a small company most people have never heard of, Liberty Defense Holdings, ticker symbol LDDFF. They built a revolutionary system called HexWave developed out of MIT's Lincoln Labs and now being commercialized with support from the Department of Homeland Security and the TSA. Think of HexWave as the next evolution of the metal detector, a portal that uses millimeter wave radar, advanced 3D imaging, and artificial intelligence to detect both metallic and non-metallic threats, like plastic explosives or 3D printed guns. It can process up to 700 people an hour without anyone removing shoes, jackets, or emptying pockets. The system's already been tested in major venues, from Toronto's Pearson Airport to LAX, and several U.S. airports, stadiums, correctional facilities, government buildings, and national laboratories. TSA has issued a national mandate. By April 2026, every U.S. airport must start screening employees for both metallic and non-metallic threats. There are only a couple of potential options, and Liberty's HexWave technology ticks all the boxes. In addition to the HexWave, Liberty has also been awarded over $6 million in government contracts for their HD AIT technology to retrofit roughly 1,000 body scanners nationwide. This program could be worth tens of millions as it rolls out to 173 airports. And once proven at airports, the same technology could extend to government buildings, stadiums, and schools, even agencies like the Secret Service and Department of Energy, which have similar detection needs. Despite all of this, Liberty Defense's market cap is just $16 million, after raising more than $45 million to develop its technology. The stock has dropped over 80% in the past 7 months, now trading near its all-time lows. It's led by CEO Bill Frayne, a former L3, now L3 Harris executive with decades in defense technology, someone who knows how to navigate government procurement and secure contracts. The company also holds an exclusive patent license from MIT, and with the TSA mandate approaching, Liberty could be on the verge of its first major commercial breakthrough. If even a small portion of that rollout converts into revenue, it could completely revalue this company. You can actually see HexWave in action on their website. I'll drop the link down in the video description below, along with the investor presentation. Once again, the ticker symbol is LDDFF. And as always, please conduct your own research before making any investments. But with government mandates kicking in and exclusive TSA contracts already in motion, Liberty Defense is definitely one company I want you to keep on your radar. Everyone, as always, I want to thank you for making it to this point of the video, and thank you all for your incredible support. We look forward to seeing you all in our next video soon.